So, ladies and gentlemen, in this life, when you deal with a person that's addicted to noise, whether the guy in the next apartment, the guy in the next house, the half naked guy who goes up and down the highway on his ATV and his motorcycle, doesn't really know how much of an asshole he is. It's kind of covered in this episode. It's kind of weird, ladies and gentlemen. Sounds and Silences had a lot of history in the history of the Twilight Zone. It was not shown on TV for 20 years because of a plagiarism accusation against the writer Rod Serling. And of all people, the great director Richard Donner of Superman fame put together or directed this episode and did a really good job. Now, John MacGyver, best known for playing the heroic senator in Manchurian Candidate, who was eventually assassinated by Lawrence Harvey. He plays against type here. He's a complete and friggin' asshole. Now, Sounds and Silences is episode 147 of Twilight Zone, a fifth season. It originally aired on April 3rd, 1964, again on CBS. According to Serling's opening narration, this is Roswell G. Flemington, 220 pounds of gristle, lung tissue, and sound decibels. He is, as you have perceived, a noisy man, one of a breed who substitutes volume for substance, sound for significance, and shouting to cover up the readily apparent phenomena that he's nothing more than overweight and aging perennial sea scout whose noise-making is in inverse ratio to his competence and his character. But soon our would-be admiral of the fleet will embark on another voyage. This one is an uncharted and twisting stream that heads for a distant port called the Twilight Zone. Now, this was back-to-back between two of the worst episodes of the series, I Am the Night, Color Me Black, and Caesar and Me. Now, in this one, Flemington, who's owner of a model ship company and a former serviceman of the United States Navy, grew up in a home where his mother required silence. Thus, as an adult, he makes as much noise as he possibly can, is obsessed with the Navy, and behaves thunderously in response to any slight. Now, he's playing, I guess, a bombing of Okinawa when his wife comes in and smashes the record. Now, after 20 years, his patient wife Lydia becomes fed up with his obsession with noise and walks out on him. Alone, he begins to hear every little noise like explosion or gunshot. He sees a psychiatrist, played by the other Michael Fox, who helps him to understand that the conflict with Lydia has caused him to relive his resentment against his mother to the point that he internalizes his mother's affliction. He now realizes that all in his head, all he needs to do is overcome the mental block with mind over matter. He successfully does so, but when Lydia returns to pick up her jewelry, he shuts her out, leading him to go deaf. Desperate to hear anything, he puts on a record and sets the volume to his highest setting. The scene remains silent, but his apartment vibrates from the stereo sound. Panic, he opens his window and begs for noise. When last heard from Mr. Roswell G. Flemington, he was in a sanitarium pleading with the medical staff to make some noise. They, of course, believe the case to be a rather tragic aberration. A man's mind becomes unhinged. And for this, they'll give him pills, therapy, and the rest. Little do they know that all Mr. Flemington is suffering from is a case of poetic justice. Tonight's tale of Sounds and Silences from the Twilight Zone. Now, ironically, again, it wasn't a syndication package or even shown on TV for 20 years, and this is why. In 1961, a script titled A Sound of Silence was submitted to the producers and rejected. Following the first screening of Sounds and Silences, the original author successfully sued Rod Serling for plagiarism because of similarities in the plot, and it was awarded all the sum of $3,500. Since litigation was ongoing at the time of the initial syndication package creation, the episode was withheld until '84, when it first resurfaced on a special holiday presentation, which I think included Night in the Meek. Now, John MacGyver, I think, is one of the most learned actors to ever appear on the Twilight Zone. He basically was a highly educated actor, only 20 years in the business, and a graduate of Fordham, Columbia, and Catholic University of America. Now, he has more than 100 appearances in TV motion pictures and made every show he's in better. Now, the owl-faced, portly character actor, with his mid-Atlantic accent and precise diction, one of the greatest, I think, line readers in 1960s TV, was often cast as pompous Englishmen and other stuffy, aristocratic, and bureaucratic types. Of course, he was known for performance in such films as Breakfast at Tiffany, his tragic character in Manchurian Candidate, who's minding the store and man's favorite sport. He appeared on many TV shows and commercials during the 60s and 70s, including the the first of a long-running popular series commercial for the American Express charge card, and under the "Do You Know Me" moniker. Now, highly talented as a teacher and actor, he began an English teacher and worked as an actor and director in New York's Irish Repertory Theatre in the 1940s. When he enlisted in the U.S. Army, he served as an officer in the 7th Armored Division in Europe during World War II. Returning to civilian life, he continued to teach English and speech at Christopher Columbus High School in the Bronx and worked off Broadway. Now, big characters, character episodes. Alfred Hitchcock presents episodes Six People, No Music, and Fatal Figures, and of course, Sound and Silences. In 1971, he co-starred in Alias Smith and Jones, and 1964 appeared in Man's Favorite Sport. He also was part of the Patty Duke Show between 1963 and 1964. Now, his most recognized film roles again came in 1962 when he appeared in The Manchurian Candidate as the principal incorruptible Senator Jordan. Is that a silencer? And as a wistful Julius salesman in breakfast activities. McGuire later played a role of an unhinged religious fanatic, Mr. O'Daniel, in the 1969 film Midnight Cowboy, and a small role in Lucille Ball's Mame. He also guested on Gilligan's Island and Bewitched. Now, ironically, he had probably one of the biggest families ever in Hollywood history. He was married to Ruth Schmigsky from 1947 till his death. He had 10 children, Brigitte, Maria, Terry, Basil, Claire, Olivier, Ian, Clemens, Boris, and Cornelia. Boris, the ninth child in MacGyver's large family, followed his father's footsteps, working as a pro actor in films and on television since 1987. Unfortunately, he passed away of a heart attack on September 9th, 1975, and we're all left to mourn. Now, Boris MacGyver, just to give person a reminder, he has appeared in Lincoln, House of Cards, The Wire, Killing Kennedy, and A Person of Interest, big TV show, movies, of course, Iron Weed, and Point Blank. Now, TV, of course, Law and Order, As the World Turns, The Wire, 30 Rock, John Adams, The Carrie Diaries, Flesh and Bones, and The First Lady. A lot of character roles like his father, of course, Boardwalk Empire. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sounds and Silences just proves that if someone's making way too much noise, either something's going to happen to him, hopefully, or the people that are around him can motivate them to seek out a much cleaner and quieter path in their life. But MacGyver's performance in this one is just tremendous. I like him so much as an actor. I saw that Manchurian Candidate at the age of 7, and I've always been scared of silencers because of it. And the scene there, not to give it away, but you didn't see it coming, ladies and gentlemen. One of the most chilling assassinations in 1960s movie history or movie annals. Tremendous. But this is a good performance. Very, very intense. Thanks for listening. If you like what you're doing here, we're a TZ Podcast. Let us know in a like, comment, subscribe, or share.